She's getting louder. I'm gonna move to the light, I'm gonna speak of the light, I'm gonna sing with the light, I'm gonna dance in the light. When I choose to remember that Spirit is all, I rejoice and give praise and shine in the light. I'm gonna move to the light, I'm gonna speak of the light, I'm gonna sing with the light, I'm gonna dance in the light. When I choose to remember that Spirit is all, I rejoice and give praise and shine in the light. We're gonna do that all one more time. I'm gonna move to the light, I'm gonna speak of the light, I'm gonna sing with the light, I'm gonna dance in the light. When I choose to remember that Spirit is all, I rejoice and give praise and shine in the light. When I choose to remember that Spirit is all, I rejoice and give praise and shine in the light. When I choose last time, when I choose to remember that Spirit is all, I rejoice and give praise and I shine in the light. Yeah, shine in the light. Ooh, shine in the light. Shine.
Oh, yes. Thank you, Susan and Mark. Welcome. When I shine in the light. And what an idea, when I choose to remember. Welcome this morning to Unity Spiritual Center of Portland as we gather in an awareness of the light. And if by any chance that awareness has moved outside of yourself, I'd invite you to pull it back in this morning to recognize that we are created whole and perfect just as we are, as infinite creations of this quantum field. We are filled with the light. With the light. It's a scientific idea that literally all of life is light and that movement of spirit. And so as we gather this morning, both in this space and around the globe, we hold that space of light encircling all. Let's begin this service in prayer. Oh, Mother, Father God, infinite spirit, we open to the light that is within us, to this calling, this purpose, to share that light, to allow an awakening to happen in our hearts, in our minds, in our very being, and a deeper understanding that we are one. As we come together this morning, we create this energy circle of love, knowing that always all that we need is present. And for all that is happening around us, for those who have been involved in the shootings, in the wars, in the things that are happening, we hold them in that light, in love. We stand with you. We know that you are a creation of spirit and that love lives as you now. For this opportunity to gather, to hold the space, and to trust each step, each journey of the awakening. We are blessed, and so it is. Amen. And I welcome you this morning again. I want to just share with you some of what's happening. And first, I want to start out by welcoming and saying thank you to our administrator, Diana Glick, and to ask her to come up, even though, no, please, no. Yes, I know she's going to. So we have flowers for her. For those of you who don't know, this is Diana's last Sunday physically here as our administrator. She's been with us almost 2 years. I'm giving you the whole thing so they don't drip on you. Diana, we love you. You came in July of 2019, and you have created order. You have brought light. You have just moved together. And through this pandemic, you have supported this community and so many people, so many of us, myself included, with your gifts and your blessings. And I just want to say thank you. And we all want to say thank you for that. We love you, Diana. And for those of you who don't know, she is engaged and getting married, so she's moving to California. And while part of me wants to say no, the truth is I am thrilled. I am thrilled for Diana that she is doing what it is that she desires to do. And always the question is, what happens next? And I don't know if you have met Beth O'Shields yet, but Beth has said yes to being here through July. Why don't you just come forward, Beth, just so people can at least know who you are. And Beth is a member of this community. She's one of our spirit group leaders. Thank you. And just for being here, she's agreed to be here through July as part-time admin here in the church. And she actually was the administrator of Unity Renaissance Spiritual Center in Chesapeake, Virginia, and took a study group from just being a study group into a church with that community in her 10 years as admin. So she's here just to support us and to be in this space. Diana will be working with us part-time through September, and I am eternally grateful, from California, doing the website and the constant contact and being in staff meetings and other things like that. So we are truly, truly blessed, and we'll be opening up this position in July. So I wanted to share that with you, and I wanted to let you know this is the last week to join our spirit groups. We actually have one that is open. It has like 2 slots on Wednesday evening, the ones that are on Zoom at 7 p.m., and then the one that is meeting here at the church at 11:30 in the morning on Sundays is open. And if you would like to be a part of that, you are welcome to do that today at 11:30. And it's a wonderful opportunity to gather socially distanced with masks on. There is a new class starting, Standing Firm When Your World is Shaking. Now, I know none of us have a world that's shaking, but just in case, our prayer practitioner, Lynn Soden, will be teaching this. It starts tomorrow night. It's 4 Mondays, 7 to 8:30. It's $40. You can sign up on our website or from the link on the newsletter, the e-newsletter. And we also have Reverend E.J. Niles coming in to do the spiral dynamics piece that I've been talking about. And it looks at both the theory of spiral dynamics and what is happening in our world today. What is it? What is this evolution that's being asked? Reverend E.J. travels around the country, or she did previously. Right now she does most of it by Zoom, sharing her knowledge with spiral dynamics. And so that'll be May 19th, Wednesday at 7 p.m. It's $25, and you can sign up on our website or the newsletter again. Our youth and family ministry will begin meeting in person little bit by little bit. They're starting out May 16th with preschoolers, and then the 23rd, the kindergartners, and it just goes up from there. They'll be meeting outdoors with Barbara. So if you have youth, look on our website. It's all on there, or you can call the church. So we are just excited about the things that are happening. We are going to take a moment and welcome any of you who are new. We want you to know that at Unity Spiritual Center, one of the things that we realize is that every being is created as the infinite light of the universe. They're created from that quantum field. And so wherever you are on your spiritual journey, you are welcome here. We love you. We bless you. We hold that space for you. And we're so happy you're with us. And I also wanted to welcome any of you that's both here and online. If you're online and watching and you're new or you haven't signed up yet, please go to our website at unityofportland.org and sign up to be on our mailing list, and we'd love to give you information. So we are going to stand and sing, whether you're at home or here. We just invite you to sing with us. We are starting our song, We Let It Be.
Yeah. So I will call out if we are going to let love, peace, or joy flow through us this morning. We're going to start with love, of course. We let the love wash over us. We let it be. We let the love wash over us. We let it be. And let's stay with love. We let the love wash over. Wash over us. We let it be. Now bring it to joy. We let the joy wash over us. We let it be.
Yes, we do.
Nice. Good job.
And I would just invite you to look around this room or your space wherever you are and just simply namaste. The divine in me greets the divine in you. Recognize we are all made in that image and likeness of wholeness, of life, and we are so blessed. And as we realize this, we're going to move now into our time of meditation, of realizing that to move through our lives with an understanding of a larger picture, that somewhere our soul has said yes to this time, to this place, to this evolution. It's the gift of understanding, and I just invite you, as we get quiet, to allow your heart to open.
Stay and rest in love. I will stay and rest in love. Love's within me, love's around me, love is on your face. I will stay.
gently, ever so gently, as we relax into our chairs, into this moment, I will stay and rest in love. I relax. I turn within. I let go. And I breathe in an awareness of the love that I am. Whatever's been happening in my world, I loose that and let it go. I rest in love, as love, this moment. Allowing my focus to follow that sacred cycle of the breath. I am love. I am light. I am that I am in the silence. In the silence. Moment by moment, I am willing to allow my understanding of the love that I am to stand under all that I do. All of my thoughts are guided by that love. And gratitude for this day, for the next step that I am to take, for each movement throughout my life. Gratitude flows through me now as I rest in love. And so it is. Amen.
I will stay and rest in love. I will stay and rest in love. Love's within me, love's around me, love is on your face. I will stay and rest in love. I will stay and rest in love. I will stay and rest in love. Love's within me, love's around me, love is on your face. I will stay and rest in love. I will stay and rest in love. compassion. Let me be an opening so that I may fully see all the love that has been rested in me. Let me be an opening of acceptance. Let me be an opening of thoughtfulness. Let me be an opening so that I may fully be all the love that has been rested in me. And the world will feel a ripple through its heart, 'cause I want to play a part of a healing one. And our souls are awakened to the thought that we do care. And the promise of this life can be shared. Won't you share your life? Oh, share your life. Share your life. Oh, share your life. Oh, share your life. Oh, share your life. Share your life. Oh, share your life. Share your life. Oh, share your life. Thanks.
Oh, thank you, thank you. How beautiful. Let me be a channel for light, for understanding, for compassion. I believe all of our souls are asking that. I know that's this desire. Anybody have a tough time this week doing that? Sometimes what we have over here is a little different than where we are. And I believe so much of life is pulling these pieces together and finding ways that we can open to a larger understanding of who we are and where we are and what we've said yes to expressing, to evolving, to living, to allowing to come through us, this life journey. And what a time it is. You know, we're talking about divine audacity, and many of you have gotten the book that we're studying, and we're actually spending 12 weeks looking at spiritual principles. What are the spiritual principles that will allow us to have the audacity to shine our light even when things around us can be really tough? Or we wonder, what do I do here? How do I see wholeness in this? Where do I add my energy that allows something more to come forth? And how do I add my energy when I don't know what will come forth? What is it that we do? Right now, we're being called to have an inner understanding that the picture around us may not always show that place. Last week we talked about faith, and these are energy centers. My belief is, and I grew up hearing that literally because we're created in this infinite awareness, in this infinite intelligence of a quantum field, you can call it God, you can call it Buddha, you can call it whatever name you want to call it, but literally because we're created from this quantum field, we have that very energy within us. And if we will learn and develop these spiritual ideas, and faith was one of them, then literally we begin moving in a direction. Have you ever said, you get up and it's like, oh dear, I haven't had coffee, life isn't so good, and we start with all the things that aren't working? And have you ever just suddenly said, wait a minute, today's a good day? And we start in a different movement. We were taught to sing this song, every little cell in my body is healthy, every little cell in my body is well. I'm so glad every little cell in my body is healthy and well. And then it goes into how you're glad for your day and you're glad for life. And it was this whole movement. And what I found was when I began believing and having an idea, it took me in a very different way. And suddenly the day wasn't too hard and the day wasn't as difficult. And so some of it is just simply beginning to set a direction that we would like to go. And so if I'm feeling overwhelmed, part of my opportunity is to say, wait a minute, I have faith within me. Where would I like to set my faith? Because if I am setting it on, there are no answers for this, and this is the worst thing I've ever seen, and there's no reason any of this. I mean, we don't have to agree or ever want to see what we're seeing right now. But I do believe as humanity, the part of standing up to this is not saying this is more than I can take. Instead, beginning to say, we are enough. And I hold the knowing that my soul is enough to take the next step forward. My soul is enough to say we are more than this. And it's light and it's love and it's presence and we're moving. And this week, we're going into the energy center of understanding. And it took me a long time to understand what understanding meant. As a little kid, I was always told that means everything in your life, God is understanding. Under where you're standing, God is there. And we were just told all the time. So if I stand over here in this view, God is under those feet. Now, it wasn't a guy up in the sky. Instead, it was a quantum energy of love. What would happen if we began taking this in? And so I'm gonna go through some of these pieces of what is understanding, because it's a quality that will change us and move us. And I go back to my book that is, anytime life becomes overwhelming, I pull this out. It's called How to Use Your 12 Gifts from God. And it was written years ago. It's the basis for what's happening in this divine audacity. But I want to just read to you from William Warch, because his is so straight out there, you can't miss it. I think he must have taught the Sunday school classes I was in. He just starts with, understanding is my ability to know that God stands under all things. Not some things, all things. Understanding is knowing with my heart, and it's knowing how to accomplish. That means if I begin to have an understanding that there's something more happening here. There's God in this, there's good in this, even when I can't see it. It may be an invitation of the universe for us to get a different view, to finally realize and stand in that every being is created whole, infinite, and complete, whatever it is, but it's there. He goes on to say, whenever you meet something you can't understand, it simply means that you can't see the order, the good, or any purpose to it. In other words, you can't see how God, and I'm talking about infinite energy, stands under this situation. But that doesn't mean that God doesn't stand under this situation. It only appears to be that way. In reality, God stands under all things as principle. There is some principle in effect that you need to understand before you can have what he calls mental satisfaction. Now, I realize this was written, I don't know how many, 50 years ago or more. But let us assume there is a situation where there seems to be no rhyme or reason. Is there any way to find peace of mind and heart without understanding all the details? The answer is yes. You can still yourself to divine understanding. This allows you to realize that there's a spiritual law in effect, even though you can't detect it at the moment. Jesus said, "Ye believe because you have seen, but blessed are they who believe and who have not seen." This is the practice of understanding. It is trusting in God when you would have been otherwise skeptical. Again, it's trusting in the universe There's something here for me to learn. There's something here for humanity to learn. And when we are willing to get quiet and to hold ourselves in the place of divine understanding, show me what I'm to know. Show me what I'm to do. Show me what's mine. I believe that when we ask, Spirit fills. Now, personally, I'd like it on a list, and I'd like it to say, do these 4 things. What actually happens is, when I open my heart and I get quiet, somewhere in there, I'll be drawn to something. I'll take a step in a direction. This Spirit, the way it moves, literally a quantum field, that means there's no place we can go outside of this field. I don't know why we're in this place of evolution as far as humanity, and yet I am eternally grateful that we are. What we're looking at today has gone on far too long. It's not okay for anyone to be told they're less than whole. So we, our souls, have said, yes, I'm going to show up. My question is, are we willing to know there's a larger picture even when we can't see it anywhere? That's the invitation. That's what Spirit is inviting us to do. That doesn't mean we sit back and say, God's got this, I'm done. I believe instead we get to say, divine understanding, move through me. Show me what is mine to do. And when we do it and we step out, and we may fail, we may think there's nothing here, and yet when we do it again and again and again, we will take another step and another step. And when we look back, we will realize, wow, life was showing me this. Wow, life was showing us this. I know there will be a time when we look back as humanity, and the history teachers are teaching this time in life, and students will be like, can you believe that? They did what? And they didn't know how to solve it. We can say, I've got the answers. But what I know is that the answer inside of us is larger than what's in our minds, in our thoughts. And so in Divine Audacity, she talks about this idea of comprehension. We have to be able to understand in a heart way. And so the question I always learned was, am I in right relation with God, with the infinite? Or is that infinite somewhere out there and everything around here is crazy? And so if that's true, I've gotten myself out of right relation. And it gets really hard to know what next step to take. If you find yourself getting angry and wanting to throw things and push things, and it doesn't mean you're wrong, but at some point it's time to breathe and still and say, what's mine to know? What's mine to forgive? What's mine to touch? How do I create something right where I am? And we will find these baby steps come, these things happen. You know, one of the stories I was looking at, and I just love it. Her name is Biddy Bridget Mason, and she lived from 1815 to 1891. She was born into slavery and given as a wedding gift to a Mormon couple in Mississippi named Robert and Rebecca Smith. And in 1847, at age 32, she was forced to walk from Mississippi to Utah, tending cattle behind her master's 300-wagon caravan. And after 4 years in Salt Lake City, he moved them to California. She began making friends with people who weren't slaves and found with blacks who were not enslaved. They were not slaves, they were enslaved. And she soon discovered that the California state constitution made slavery illegal. And so she gathered a group around her, and they ran away. He caught them and brought them back. But several of the people that she had made friends with got a posse together, and he was stopped. And she and her friends were put into jail for their safety. And the California state judicial system said that's true, and they were given their freedom. From there, though, what fascinates me and what I keep thinking is, what led her to do the things she did? She went on to both help all of the people that were with her, but she gathered them, they worked together, they bought a piece of land. They saved their money and bought a piece of land and literally began creating a place where people who didn't have somewhere to go, that had just been freed, could go. She ended up, and something told her as she looked around, and I keep looking at this, what does it take to listen enough? When you've always been told this is who you are, how do you choose your freedom? And then go from there to something more. She looked around and realized that in the city of LA, where she had bought that property and this city was forming up, that there were no resting place for horses or carriages. And so she began offering her property for money, and became basically the first paid parking lot in Los Angeles City, and made huge amount. She made quite a bit of money, and began this whole philanthropic career of touching other lives. And she went on. She was one of the most wealthy people blacks in Los Angeles at the end of her life. But what I love to hear are these stories. Now, when she was in the middle of that, she didn't know where she was going. She knew she'd tried to become free and got caught and drugged back. And there was quite a bit of time before those people helped her get free. And I wonder, how many times are we drugged back? How many times do we believe somebody who told us we weren't enough, or we couldn't do it, or we weren't whole? How many times do we believe a story? What does it take to step out of that story, because we have the understanding that, wait a minute, I'm created by this quantum field. I'm created with all that I need in this day to do all that's mine to do. And there's nothing underneath me but infinite intelligence and good. And I don't know what this step will take, but if I don't take this step, and I don't get over here, and I don't get over here, I don't find the change in the movement. Her case was a huge impetus in California to enforce the law that slavery was not legal. We are all finding ourselves in places that we don't know what the next step is. But I can guarantee you this, my steps and your steps actually join together, because the energy field of me, which is one little place in that quantum field, is in coherence. If you look at quantum physics and this idea of coherence, and heart math talks about coherence in our bodies and getting ourselves in alignment, what they've found out with this energy field is that it's actually in coherence. And our job is to put ourselves in coherence with that, because then we begin uploading, downloading the intelligence of that field. Charles Fillmore called that understanding. And he talked about the atom-smashing power of the mind, that there's enough energy in an atom if we will but use our mind, and now we say our mind-heart, to find something more. Understanding is not intelligence, but it's knowledge taken in with the understanding that there's good, that there's God, that there's movement, that there's life, and that we are a part of that. And it moves into coherence, where all of the wisdom of the universe, all of the steps of the universe become joined together. And then something more happens, and something more happens. So how do we do it in our lives? We can look at a story, and we look back, and we're like, wow, that went together, and this went together, and this went together. And then we think, oh my goodness, how do I even make one step forward? How do I take this? And what do I do? What we do in our lives, first of all, is we recognize and begin to have the understanding that one presence and one power, whatever we want to call it, is present in every moment. And if I can't realize it, and there's times when I can't, I'd invite you to hold yourself, love yourself, sit in that until you can. Begin by being gentle with yourself. There's a good possibility that you've had a lifetime of something out there saying that's not true for you. And you've become enslaved to ideas that are not whole, to things that do not allow yourself to be there. And so first of all, begin saying, there is one presence and one power. There is God. There is good in this. It takes a lot of courage to say there is good in this. And I set the intention to know it and to see it express from this place. All things work together for good. So the first piece is just beginning to get in right relation. And if you can't get there, set the intention to be there at some point. Don't beat yourself up. This isn't, oh, I can't do that either. This is just hold. Hold an idea. All things work together for good. There's God standing under me right now. And I would say radiating through me and as me. It's not under you. It's within you. It's around you. It's as you. Begin to get quiet. Still yourself to the power of divine understanding. How many of us have even believed that we were a channel for the divine wisdom of the universe? Have we really allowed that thought to begin flowing through us? Have we really been able to do that? Now we have to be careful, because I've seen many of us, and I've done it myself, where it's like, this is going to happen in my life no matter what. Anybody done that? I'm moving here, I'm doing this, something's going to happen. And that's not actually divine wisdom. That's pretty much ego. And anybody hit a wall? It's like, well, that didn't learn. Charles Fillmore used to say, we can learn from divine understanding. What is it? I wish I had it exactly. Basically, we can learn from divine understanding, or we can learn from the pain of all the walls we hit when we say, I'm doing this, or my world is going to look like this, or they're not going to do this to me. But instead, we can get quiet. Meditation is part of it. Beginning to know the divine wisdom as understanding, this divine understanding flows through me. That's the realization. That's realizing it's within me. And then having the insight. Something will say, do this. I'd invite you to follow that. When something in my heart says, do this, I sit down and I often say, is that wise? And then I listen inside. And there are many times when I take that step, not being able to explain it, not knowing why, but saying, this is the next place. And if it's not where I think I need to be going, then I get to stand here, and I have always found that where I am here was exactly what I needed to know for the next things happening along my journey. What fascinates me is that's all of us together also. So each of us is having this individual experience. And every time we get quiet and allow a larger understanding to happen, we open to the heart of understanding of humanity. And ideas, again, you can, and I'm using, I don't know where it is, this book, The Field Still. I've been rereading that. Many of you have heard me talk about it. When they talk about the coherence of the zero-point energy field, which is the quantum field that they have identified and can clearly tell, and the information that is passed on always, there's no way it can't be, we're part of that. That's where we evolve. And so when we have the courage to see God in all things, to know there's good even when I can't see it yet, and to move in the direction we are guided and our heart, mind, being in silence says is ours to do, we will find that we create a path that is exactly where we need to be. You're on it now. You're not off of it. Just stand where you are and begin the idea that understanding, I am understanding, and understanding is the divine gift that takes me further. Thank you. Thank you, thank you. All right, we are going to receive our tithes and our love offerings. And I know many times for me, money, we may not understand why doesn't there appear to be enough? And again, Lynn Twist in her book, The Soul of Money, says the number one thing that we've believed is a lie of scarcity. It's one of the things we've believed in this world that we said yes to evolving in. And so I'd invite you to recognize the good and the God and the infinite in all of your finances and in our finances as a country and as a world, and to begin holding a larger space. So we use our blessing, divine love, as me, blesses and multiplies all that I have, all that I give, and all that I receive. I just invite you to allow yourself to know that. If you'd like to give, I invite you to do so with there's our website, unityofportland.org. You can text 77977 and the word Unity of Portland and do that one time or an ongoing basis. You can also send in your checks here to the church here, and realize we've just moved into our month of special giving. And that idea of us as a community is that we're holding this complete idea of enough in who we are, and that the universe fills that, and that we're a part of that movement of spirit. We've had someone donate $1,000 matching gift, and so the first 1,000 is going to be matched, and I just invite you to be a part of that as we hold this space for a planet that moves forward, and for our community as we recognize who we are, what we're called to be, and literally our ability to touch the world around us. Thank you.
1, 2, 3. Divine love is me, who blesses and multiplies all that I am, all that I have. Divine love as me, who blesses and multiplies all that I am, all that I have. And it's all divine love, and it's all divine love, and it's all divine love. All that I am, all that I have. Divine love is me, who blesses and multiplies all that I am, all that I have. Divine love is me, who blesses and multiplies all that I am, all that I have. And it's all divine love, and it's all divine love, and it's all divine love. All that I am, all that I have. All that I am, all that I have.
Divine love as me. Thank you, thank you, thank you. That's so beautiful.
Thank
Thank you. You know, one of the things when life gets tough that I think of so often, and I know you've heard the story, Dr. Martin Luther King, when someone spit on him, took his handkerchief and wiped it off and gave it back and said, "Here, I believe this belongs to you." And in fact, I think it's Sydney who sings a song about that so often. When life gives us something that we don't agree with, that hurts and makes us feel like we're down to the ground on our knees, many times I do that same thing. I pull it off, whatever it is, whatever idea, whatever thought, and I say, "Here, this belongs to you. For underneath me is the infinite intelligence of the universe, the light of God, the love of God, the presence of God, the power of God, and I stand in that." And sometimes I do it all day long because I have to keep giving it back. But I just invite you to know that we're going to close in just a moment with our peace song. But anytime something comes at you, you can always give it back because it's not who you are. So we're going to stand and hold a space for peace as we just know, let there be peace on earth and let it begin with me.
Let there be peace on earth and let it begin with me. Let there be peace on earth, the peace that was meant to be. With God as creator, family all are we. Let us walk with each other in perfect harmony. Let peace begin with me. Let this be the moment now. With every step I take, let this be my joyous vow. To take each moment and live each moment in peace eternally. Let there be peace on earth and let it begin with me.
Oh yes, let there be peace on earth and let it begin with me. And in just a moment, we're going to do our unity prayer. I realize I did not say, if you did not get to say goodbye to Diana and would like to, Wednesday from 12:30 to 2, she will be out in the garden. You can bring your lunch. You can just drop by to say hello, but just to be able to bless her along her way. And her kids live here, so we know she'll be back. But we are so blessed. And just all of us together know that the light of God surrounds us. The love of God enfolds us. The power of God protects us. The presence of God watches over us. Wherever we are, God is, and all is well. And so it is. Amen. Have a love-filled week. Blessings.
The love of God is in my heart. Thank you for this day. The peace of God is in my life. Thank you for this day. Oh, feel the love of God, the peace of God. Oh, feel the love of God, the peace of God. The joy of God is in my heart. Thank you for this day. The peace of God is in my life. Thank you for this day. Oh, feel the love of God, the truth of God. Oh, feel the joy of God, the truth of